San Juan, capital of the world's oldest colony. In the 500 years since Christopher Columbus came here, Puerto Ricans have known only dominance from abroad. Under Spanish rule, until in 1898, the United States Navy barged past Spain's fortifications into San Juan Harbour, bombing the city. More than a century since that change of colonial masters, Puerto Rico's relationship with the US is more at issue now than ever.
The problem is that Puerto Rico's sovereignty it doesn't exist. The United States has Puerto Rico as a colony. It's a classical colony. It's a classical political subordination in which Puerto Rico has no say in it.
Attorney-turned-politician Manuel Rodriguez is trying to sell the unsaleable in Puerto Rico, suggesting the island sever ties with the United States.
It's like preaching vegetarianism in Argentina. And the problem here in Puerto Rico is that we're preaching against the current. We are for independence, and everything here stimulates dependence.
The status issue has polarized opinion in Puerto Rico. Many want to go to the other extreme and become America's 51st state. More, about 50%, want to remain a US territory.
We've been part of the US for over 103 years, and it's simply a matter of civil rights. We have fewer rights than any other of our fellow American citizens on the United States mainland or Hawaii or Alaska.
Now, one issue is cracking open the US status question like nothing else. Vieques, a 30 by 10 kilometre speck off Puerto Rico's eastern tip. Since World War II, the US Navy has trained on and pummeled this tiny island incessantly. The only Atlantic firing range where the most powerful Navy can bomb from sea, land and air simultaneously.
It's absolutely unique. There is no other place that offers the same ability to conduct different warfare skills in concert. There is no other place that allows that.
What the U.S. Navy does here is wrong, and the military presence has had a devastating impact on the environment, on the economy, the ecology.
Robert Rabin is a key figure in the protest movement committed to sabotaging the jewel of US Navy training grounds.
You're all here, a part of this process, because what is so important is solidarity to assist the children of Vieques.
The movement surfaced among the island's 9,000 residents in the late 70s, but took off in the late 90s after a misdirected Navy bomb killed a civilian, David Sunes.
War is bad enough, but to practice for war on your own people in an inhabited island is wrong. And you don't have to stand for it. I mean, it should not be the cost of affiliating with America that you have to have your children die.
Now, the anti-Navy forces have staked out the entrance to the bombing range and armed themselves with an array of disturbing health findings, suggesting Vieques suffers higher cancer rates, infant mortality, and heavy metals in the environment.
The Navy has used napalm on Vieques. We believe they've experimented here for many, many years with depleted uranium and probably with things that we'll never know about.
We have no data that would support the claims regarding any of the health issues that have been discussed regarding Vieques and training on Vieques. On the other hand,
on Capitol Hill in Washington, the House Armed Services Committee doesn't appreciate disruption to its Navy's training schedule, based on health
Taylor,
claims many members consider spurious.
On these things, and we've checked out every darn one of these, and we can't find one scientific thing that backs up the health issue.
And this is how Vieques wages war on the US Navy. This convoy is on one of the now frequent sabotage missions, smuggling activists into the bombing range.
It's a strategy that's been used over many months now to get people into the Navy's restricted zone to be arrested relatively quickly, to bring attention to the issue, to dramatize the problem of the Navy presence.
So I want you three behind me, and I want the press behind them until we get up to the fence.
On today's mission, a New York legislator is about to join 1,500 others already arrested in the battle for Vieques.
Nobody wants to go to jail, but I'm resigned to the fact that that's what I have to do in order for the Navy to hopefully one day, not in the near future, one day leave. And I think this pressure is working.
As you'll see, this pebble in the shoe approach of dealing with the Navy has been strikingly effective. Every time one or more make it through, they force the Navy to stop the bombing and clear the range.
Esto es de nosotros ahora. Esto es de nosotros ahora. Esto nos pertenece a nosotros.
The people of Vieques have made the Navy's life here untenable.
We get to make the chain and one bucket.
But they've also sold their cause to a much larger audience.
That's it. I'm gonna go check down here though. Hey, go ahead and stay down there and load him up. He's here. You gonna watch him?
So the implications are that if the Navy leaves, Puerto Rico then will become sovereign and an independent country because the United States doesn't need Puerto Rico anymore.
Veteran Puerto Rican political analyst Juan Garcia Pasalacqua hammers the point on his radio and TV shows.
Pasamos nuestros micrófonos con Juan Manuel García Pasalacqua.
Aunque ganemos el referéndum en Vieques, nos vamos de Vieques. ¿Por qué? Porque hay un ambiente hostil en Vieques contra nosotros.
Cuando se sienten acorralados, dicen me voy en el 2003.
Even would-be hitmakers have latched onto the surge in pro-Vieques sentiment.
Dale, sí, Marina, no. Vieques, sí, Marina, no. Vieques, sí, Marina, no.
This is a historic, tremendous, earth-shaking development for the people of Puerto Rico.
Psychologically difficult for the people of Puerto Rico?
Psychologically difficult for half of the people of Puerto Rico, gratifying for the other half, which is the amazing thing here. I mean, we're split down the middle.
They call it the barrio, or ghetto. Almost two-thirds of Puerto Rico's near 4 million people live below the poverty line. Many in federal housing projects like this one. An imposing reminder of the dangers for Puerto Rico in toying with its US relationship, in risking the billions Washington spends in welfare here as a sweetener for its Caribbean stronghold.
I like Puerto Rico and I like United States. I like two flags. I like Puerto Rico, I like United States.
No statehood. Not at all. Hey, we are citizens of the United States. We are friends and neighbors. Like this, you know. Veteran, right? Yes. Then you pay attention to a couple people that they minority, you know.
They provide us with funds for food, with special grants to get our kids in school, go to college, which I see, which is a very good help.
I think right now I'm very happy with the United States, being part of the United States.
The people of Puerto Rico receive $6 billion a year in exchange for 12 military bases in Puerto Rico. And that's the deal.
That's a lot of money in this economy.
It is the economy. If the bases go, the funds go. If the bases stay, the funds stay.
In the barrio, most want America to stay. It's a link sealed in blood. Barrio resident Catalina Collins' 2 sons served in Vietnam, and many hundreds have died under the Stars and Stripes, a flag with no star for Puerto Rico.
I have my children there. My children go to school there. I love America.
Beyond San Juan, the Vieques bombing reverberates in the United States. The tiny island has assumed an importance in places nowhere near the bombing range. New York. In some respects, Puerto Ricans have more influence here than at home. 1.7 million Puerto Ricans live in the Big Apple, not to mention those in Chicago, Florida, and elsewhere. There are as many living in the continental US as in Puerto Rico. On Manhattan's Lower East Side, and in other cities where they hang the Puerto Rican flag, one issue has blossomed into an unusually potent rallying call, a way to declare their ethnicity, Vieques.
There has been no issue that has brought the Puerto Rican together and had that much unanimity in the raising of voices.
Hispanic Federation President in New York, Lorraine Cortez, sees Vieques galvanizing Hispanic and even African American voters.
But I really do think that the relationship between the United States and its U.S. citizens on Puerto Rico will change dramatically, all stimulated by Vieques.
It's becoming an issue that binds and connects Latinos all across the board because it's a real overt expression of colonialism and people are rejecting it.
Reverend Jesse Jackson is in San Juan, and he's not alone on an issue that's attracted names like Kennedy and Clinton. In the wake of a fuss over his marital infidelity, the civil rights figurehead chose not to invade the bombing range. His wife Jacqueline did, sentenced to 10 days prison, this her release day.
And then I willingly decided to become a part of the human shield that was formed to stop the bombing.
The Navy has no right to use Puerto Rico as a warm-up for fighting imaginary wars in Europe. If it must fight a war in Europe, then practice in Europe.
But with millions of votes at stake in the US and big guns fighting their media battle, Vieques had the US president cornered, forcing him to preempt a referendum on the issue and promise no more bombing after May 2003.
And I have made the statement loud and clear that within a reasonable period of time that the Navy will find another place to practice.
And the President of the United States, who needs Hispanic votes in New York and in Florida, because his brother is running in Florida in a few months, said, hey guys, you know, if these people are affirming their ethnicity and I need Hispanic votes, the hell with the Navy.
But coming as it did before Vieques could vote on its future, and as a fait accompli for the Navy, the President's compromise seems to have fully satisfied no one.
All he did is said, oh yeah, we're going to lose the vote. Well, we knew that he was going to lose the vote. But if you're raping someone, you don't say, oh, it's okay, I'm going to stop in 2 years.
But we cannot give up Vieques. We cannot give up this asset. We do not have the luxury of time to analyze every possible site where we might cobble together something that would hopefully work.
On Capitol Hill, Republicans in the Armed Services Committee have gone, well, ballistic, fearing the Vieques precedent will white-ant the U.S. military wherever it trains.
And if we put a crack in the dike here, and if we allow this to happen, where is it going to stop?
That's what we've done in Vieques. The stupidest thing, I think, that I've ever been a part of on this committee, and I regret having been a part of that conference. This is setting a precedent that is going to come back to bite us in the rear end time and time again.
Vieques has compounded the American military's uncertainty. Not only can its hosts turn against it, when the political winds shift, so too can its president. And the island has fueled the greatest of fears for Puerto Ricans. George W. Bush hasn't ordered the Navy out of Puerto Rico, just off Vieques, but one might lead to the other.
That's a legitimate concern. And the people in Puerto Rico have to think long and hard about what relationship they want to have to the United States.
The statehood is saying, please stay. Keep sending the $6 billion. We'll put the American flag in the chapel or anywhere. Don't go. The Americans are saying it's costing us too much. You don't want the bases, we won't send you the money. But I think what is going to happen after this is over is the United States is going to say, okay, guys, with the American flag or with the Puerto Rican flag, tell us which way you want to go. And there'll be a referendum between the two flags, actually.
Here, so few want America out of Puerto Rico altogether, yet Vieques has made a rethink of the relationship with the US almost inevitable. On this tiny island, Puerto Rico has slipped closer to the independence it hasn't had for half a millennium, and still doesn't want.